Sure, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Right. Hello. Can you please tell us all who you are, what you do, and how old you are?
Okay. My name's Melissa. I am 31. I'll be 32 in November. And I am a primary school teacher in a special needs unit within a primary school. So,
Okay.
SEN teacher.
All right, cool. So, fairly stressful job then, yeah.
Hmm.
Right. Now, before we actually started working together, you were involved in something fairly traumatic, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, in June last year, I was involved in a road traffic accident. Um, I was training a lot before then. I was planning to do a half marathon, like everything was going so well. I'd bought my wedding dress, and then I was involved in this ridiculous, like, turn of events where everything just changed, really. I had superficial injuries, as they call them, so like scarring and things like that. But the thing for me was my back, and I knew that I couldn't go back to the training that I was doing before, and all I kept thinking was, what am I going to do now?
Yeah,
um,
100%. It makes sense. I mean, how were you actually feeling in the time period between the car crash and then obviously us starting working together? Like, what was that like for you day to day?
um, it was a struggle because doctors would say things like, just rest, don't go to the gym. Um, yeah, like you don't have to go to the gym. And I'm like, I know, but up
Hmm.
here, I need to go. So I was just in like this limbo of being frustrated. Like I was being told that it would take like up to a year to get better. And I thought, okay, well, what does better look like? Does that mean back to how I was? Does it mean like that I can walk longer than half an hour without being in pain? Like I just, it was really frustrating. And I think with the way that my brain works naturally is that I am an overthinker. So then the worst was happening. Like I'm not going to be able to look good in my wedding dress, and everything kind of just spiraled from there. And I knew that even though my wedding was a year away, I knew that that year would go pretty quick, and it
Yeah,
did.
yeah, 100%. Okay, cool. So, in like a sentence, a short explanation, what was the goal in your head when we actually first had a chat?
I was just trying to see if there was actually something that existed beyond a 12-week plan or an
Mm.
8 week, because that's all I was seeing and that's all I've kind of done in the past. And I was thinking, okay, I don't have 8 weeks and I'm being told not to go to the gym, but I know I need to train. And I knew that the classes that I was doing before were great, but I knew I couldn't do those again. So the reason I knew that I needed direction and support in training surrounding the injury. And I just knew that sort of a one size fits all cookie cutter plan, as they call it, wouldn't work for me. And then I found you.
Okay, cool, sweet. You obviously mentioned that you've tried some bits in the past and the type of
Mm.
training you were doing beforehand. Had that gotten you, I suppose, to like the body that you wanted? Obviously, we know sort of what you look like now and feel like now. Had you got close to sort of this before via that style of training?
I think I'd got to a smaller version of me at the
Mhm.
time. So like I'd kind of lose fat for maybe a holiday or an event, and I would be smaller than I was when I started the plan. But that is the only word I would use to describe it. I don't think I was stronger. I don't think I had muscle definition. I don't think my habits changed at all. So although I'd feel better. Well,
Mhm.
at the time I thought I did, whereas now I'm like, oh, bless me. Like, bless little old me thinking that that was better. Um,
Yeah, I like that answer. I think the question I'd ask off the back of that is, firstly, with those approaches in the past, when you finished that sort of like 8, 12 week plan, did you have the knowledge, the confidence of, right, cool, this is how I keep these results now? Or was it sort of like, okay, that's done. Maybe I now need to do like another 8, 12 week plan to keep this going?
um, Not really. I feel like everything that I'd done was so drastic for 12 weeks. So it'd be like cutting carbs. I've done everything. Like when I say,
Hmm.
like, I've done everything, I've done shakes, I've done all sorts. And I think because it was so dramatic, and then I'd go on holiday to like an all inclusive, live my best life because I'd be like, I've been miserable for the last 12 weeks. So then I would just put it all back on again. And then because I deserved it. And I think that kind of mentality stuck with me of the whole you deserve it. Like you've been like years and years ago. I remember when I first got into training and I was obsessed with the fact that, oh, if you do this much, then you get this much back. So I'd be like, oh well, I've been I've been to do a body pump class today, so that means I can go out tonight. Like, no, it definitely doesn't. But I think that kind of was clearly drilled into me for a long time. So when I do those 8 weeks, I would just go back to having fun, and then I'd get to the next holiday, maybe 6 months later, and think, oh no, I'm back to where I was again. And I think the other part of it is that a lot of the time, like I remember mentioning this to you, I don't know if you remember, like right at the beginning, I was like, why am I still doing these same exercises? Like we've been doing these for 8 weeks, can we change them? And you were like, no. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, why? And you were like, do you want to look really good? And I said, yeah. And you went, okay, then crack on. And I was like, okay. But that was the other thing, that I was kind of changing up exercises all the time. So I wasn't really getting better at anything either. So then I'd finish it and be like, okay, so what do I do now? Do I carry on doing the one that I did in the last block? Do I do totally new exercises? Like I just didn't, I was
Yeah, it
just a
makes
bit
sense.
lost.
I think the question I'd like to ask off the back of that answer is obviously you've just got married, you've spent a week in Italy, not really thinking about calories or workouts, just about enjoying your life. In the simplest way that you can answer this as possible, do you feel like that week away where you haven't thought about this journey has affected how you look, how you feel about yourself, or do you feel like you can just snap back into your ultimately new habits and lifestyle now?
um, yeah, I feel like I can just carry on. It was just a week, not just a week. Obviously, it was the best week of my life, but it's not changed anything. In fact, it's probably made me feel better because for the first time in my life, I didn't take my Apple Watch and I just got to be present and enjoy the moment. But then I've come back and I've not punished myself or done anything stupid. I've just got got back to where I was.
I'm genuinely trying to stop myself like from smiling too much at that answer because I think a lot of people have the presumption of like, right, cool, I'm going on this fitness journey, I'm going to hire a coach. I'm about to restrict myself. I would correct me if I'm wrong, and you can do this live, and everybody's gonna laugh at me for embarrassing myself for assuming here, but I would say everything that we've done has actually added to your life, not taken away from it.
I would definitely agree with that. I
Perfect.
think without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay, cool. I like it. All right, sweet. So I suppose the next sort of area that I want to touch on is what made you on our initial call, because you have tried other things before
Mhm.
and you've seen results from them, and then obviously sort of not gone back to square one, but like you said, you put the weight back on, da 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 da. What made you feel like I was going to be different from our chat?
I think I've got this right, but I'm pretty sure on that first chat you showed me like a roadmap. Is
Yep,
that right? Was that in that very
correct.
first one, like before we even
Yes.
started?
Yeah, we went through absolutely everything in detail because you told me, right, Andy, wedding is here. I
Yeah.
want to achieve this.
Hmm.
And then we literally just built it live together. And then I
Yeah.
asked you the question of, do you like the look of this?
Mm. That I think that was it. Like it was at that moment where I thought he gets it. Like I'm not,
Mhm.
because I know obviously like you've been through like lifestyle changes yourself, but I think a lot of coaches say that to be relatable, but they actually don't then
Mm,
do that. You
no
know,
comment.
I know I shouldn't really say that, but you know what I mean? Like it's just when you did that, I thought, oh, it's not that bad. Like you weren't turning me away and saying, no, it's too far away, come back in 6 months, or you don't need to worry about that yet. Just enjoy your life, kind of thing. You were like, no, this is how long we've got. And if you really want to enjoy your life at the same time, like
Mhm.
still carry on socializing, still go on like I went on holiday in May,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Do you want to just start now?" And I thought, this actually makes so much sense.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people, there's 2 points that I want to touch on there. I think the first one is people don't give themselves enough time. They underestimate how long things are going to take. I will always say to people, I mean, I'm pretty sure like you probably, again, assuming here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably got the vibe of like, I don't need to convince you to join. Like, I'm not trying to pull
No.
anybody in to my coaching. I would actually rather repel them, which is
Yeah.
terrible for business, but it means that mostly the right people start working with me and they're the people that
Mm.
understand, all right, in order to really create a big change, it's going to take some time, but it's one investment to make sure that
Yeah.
realistically, right, when we're done together, are you ever going to need me again? No, unless you have a new goal. But I
Yeah.
would hope that if you just wanted to continue building muscle, losing body fat over and over again to improve the way you look, after we've gone through that full cycle, you won't need to message me and go, "Oh my God,
No.
Andy, I need you again." You know what you're doing. The second
Mm.
part is I think this will be hard for people to sort of comprehend, but the roadmap that you touched on, where we mapped out genuinely week by week what was going to happen for your whole journey.
Mhm.
Some people watching that will sort of think, well, how is that possible? But the best part about getting in shape when you know what you're doing, and hopefully you would, hope I do by now after helping this many people, it's actually very simple on paper. It's applying it to people's lives
Mhm.
that is the hard part. But for me, I said to you, if you complete these actions and we built something that fit your life, your time availability, the job, obviously you were planning for a wedding, you weren't exactly time rich during the process.
Mhm.
I literally said to you, I was like, right, cool. If you complete these actions and asked you the question, do you think you're capable of doing so? You will lose this much weight by this date. And then what happened? We were ready early because you
Yeah.
grafted your arse off. You were ready for the wedding early. And I think people have a hard time comprehending how can someone predict my future? But that's exactly what we did together on that first call, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is that what sort of gave you that confidence to, I suppose, take the leap after maybe having not the best of experiences in the past with other people?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that stuff that's I've not learned from things in the past. Like, there are
Of
things
course.
that have obviously helped me, but I mean, the difference was is that I could look and go, right. Well, it wasn't even. It's hard to explain. I think once she'd mapped it all out, and I was like, oh, so I basically just I'm giving I'm giving everything to you to be like, here's this, and this, and you're going, okay, this is coming up. You'll
Mhm.
be at maintenance for this, or da da da. But you've never once done anything for me.
Nope.
Like you've done,
Is that go
you've
on?
given me everything
Hmm.
when I've asked for it, or even more so, it's even when I've not asked for it, and you can just tell that there's something going on, and you're like, right, do
Hmm.
this. Um, but it was that for me that was the difference because I just thought I've trusted you wholeheartedly with this. Like I've never once had to, because I've done plans before where it's not had, like where you download it and then you just follow it. And then I've
Mm.
challenged it, and obviously there's not always somebody available to ask questions to. So then I've
Yeah.
either given up or done it differently. So I'm not going to get the results that they're advertising that people get because I didn't agree with it or I questioned it. Whereas with you, I haven't really challenged that many things. I've kind of gone, oh, how come I'm like about the exercises? Like, why am I still doing Bulgarian split squats after a year? Like, come on.
And you're
Um,
still getting better at them after a year.
but I get it now. Like, and I felt like in that initial conversation that you just created that sense of trust that you were like, I can do this for you,
Hmm.
and what always makes me laugh, and you probably might not want to put this in, but whenever you put the thing on, like oh, after how many days, if you don't get the results, then you can have your money back. I think there can't possibly be anyone out there who does everything that you tell them to do and does not get results. Like I can't, because I remember being that person. I was like, oh, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just get my money back.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
like,
I would have given it you. Yeah, 100%. And
but
that's
I
why,
would,
like,
but I
you,
laugh at the fact that because when I see that, I think, oh, I thought that. I thought,
yeah,
oh, this might not work,
yeah.
and I'll get my money back. And
Hmm.
now, a year down the line, I'm like, okay, what can you do for me now?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, what next?
that's why that guarantee is there. It's real. If somebody genuinely does join, does everything that we agree
Mm.
on, not that I tell them to, that we agree on, I
Yeah.
will refund them. And the simple reason is, and hopefully this doesn't come across like I have a huge ego, but I know what I do fucking works.
Hmm.
And I think the only thing I want to reinforce from what you said there is if somebody is watching this and they're thinking about working with me, if they're willing to do what you did and just trust me, they can change their life as well. So, next question that I have for you is there anything about me or the coaching service that has surprised you since joining? Because you probably had like maybe a preconception of, right, it's probably going to be this is going to happen. Is there anything that sort of was like, whoa, this is not what I expected?
Um, I think at first it is quite overwhelming by all the things you've got to fill in, and like if you're not that way, like if you don't love a spreadsheet, then
Of course.
it can be a bit like, oh my God, I can't believe I've got to do all these things. But what surprised me is that without those, I don't think I would have been where I am now. Like the fact that you can look at my week and go, oh, what happened here? Or like, oh, your
Yep.
sleep's been a bit off this week. And I think the fact that I don't there's enough on the sheets for me to fill in each week that you can then gather information for, where I don't need to be hounding you all the time. And I think even when people have like face-to-face PTs, there's not enough time in that
Hmm.
slot
Hmm.
where you're training, trying to get the best out of a training session, to have conversations about what's come up in an entire week or half a week or whatever it looks like. And I think that's what surprised me. And I think the other thing as well is that I have improved in my training, but I haven't had a single session with you
Yep.
physically with me being like, no, you need to do this. And I don't train with anyone. I don't go
Hmm.
like I used to train with Craig like years ago when we first met. And I don't go with anyone. I just go on my
Yep.
own, and
Yeah.
I've got.
100%. Yeah, I think that is exactly why I left the gym floor. Don't get me wrong, my time on there was very useful, as ultimately now I can sort of translate exactly what I would have done in person online to you. And that's why your training has
Yeah,
improved. And you obviously mentioned like the data tracking. I completely get it. I don't like tracking any of the data that I have to track in my life. It is absolutely boring as fuck. It's like, do you enjoy tracking calories?
um,
No, you don't, right? No one does. But is it worth paying that price to get to where you have right now?
well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing that surprised me is because obviously my job is ridiculously busy. I was planning a wedding, and my brain was just full of so many things. It took me a while, but when it clicked that I can just eat the same thing every day, and then my food shop is the same every week, my NutriCheck is copy and paste every day. And I thought, God, this is so much easier. And I've not once thought I'm a bit bored, because if I am a bit bored, I'll just change it up slightly. Or
Hmm.
I'll like swap something out, like in my breakfast, I'll swap the fruit that I'm having. And I just think, God, it really was never that complicated. And I'll be honest, I've never ever used your recipe books, and I know they exist. But to me, I just think, what I don't need to overcomplicate it. I know this works. I'll just have this, and that'll be it.
Hmm. I'm glad
And
you've said it. I'm glad you've said it. Like realistically, there's a reason there's over 900 recipes. It's for the
yeah,
people that like come to me and they think, I need meal ideas.
yeah.
What you've said is true. People don't need meal ideas. They actually need to simplify their life. Like every single
Mhm.
person that I coach, I've ever worked with is fucking busy. You are very much included in that. Imagine trying to sieve through recipes every single night. Like, oh, what shall I have for
Yeah,
dinner? Like the goal is to simplify your life. Um, but yeah, in terms of the data tracking, boring, shit. Not as boring and shit as being out of shape and unhappy, right?
yeah. I
But
think definitely. And as somebody who is like literally been looking at pictures of themselves from their wedding, I can say, fill the sheets in. Like it is
thank you.
boring and it's not
Yeah.
worth it, but just it makes the world of difference. And I mean, I do love a number. Like I do love seeing things come down and zooming out and things like that. But I also just think it's a really good way to understand so much more about your body, and
Hmm.
understanding like not be and I mean obviously I do wear an Apple Watch, but I'm not obsessed with it. And also I can use it. I can tell you how my sleep's been and how my stress has been without a watch telling me that I'm stressed or that I need sleep. but that's
Yeah.
because I've practiced that skill. And I think I remember saying to you in the initial call that what I'd done previously, it was all about like mindset and being kinder to yourself. And I was like, I don't want to be kind to myself. Like, I don't want to be all like,
Yeah, I remember you saying that actually.
and
It really stood out to me because I think I replied with being kind to yourself isn't always a bubble bath and a glass of wine. It's actually doing hard
no,
shit and keeping promises to yourself.
yeah. And I was like, oh, I've had a hard week. And then like the person on the other end of the chat would be like, well, that's okay. We all have hard weeks. And I was like, no, tell me to do more. And when you were
Hmm.
like, I feel like we'll work really well together, I just knew at that point that I thought,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
100%. I like it. All right, cool. So, talk me through what's changed. Obviously, you look insane, but how how does the way that your body has changed actually affect things day to day? Like what has happened, like in terms of your confidence, like clothes that you can wear, how you felt walking down a fucking aisle in Italy? Like how does your life look different day to day now in terms of how you feel?
Um, I think I definitely I enjoy clothes, wearing clothes now and wearing them to look nice in them and not wearing them to see what covers my tummy or what looks good on other people and I'm trying to make it look good on me. Like I actually enjoy wearing clothes as opposed to just putting them on my body, if that makes
Mhm.
any sense at
It
all.
it does.
And I think it's just enjoying the moments and not being worried about what I look like at different angles. Like I was like going through the pictures yesterday of like our first dance, and there's
Yeah.
so many of them. And even though we were singing to each other, so we're not smiling or looking lovingly into each other's eyes because it's Fred again, and we were just like living our best lives.
Yeah.
That we were just like that. I didn't look at those pictures and think, "Oh God, I look so stupid," or like, "Oh, I wish I didn't pull that." And I just thought, "God, look how happy we are." And I
Hmm.
think that's for me. That's been the biggest thing is that I'm not just posing for a picture to pretend that everything's fine and that I feel comfortable and happy. Like I actually enjoy looking at myself in the mirror and not picking everything apart. And obviously, I know there's things I want to improve. Like that's why I want to do a muscle building phase, but I'm also not mad at how I feel. And I also don't think that I've not done it for the wedding to then just like sack it all off and because I also remember saying to you at the start, I was like, I've not got that much to lose. I look all right in my dress. What an idiot.
Everyone says that. Yeah.
Like,
Unfortunately, if someone is watching this with the hope of losing body fat, you probably have more fat to lose than you think.
well, and that's the thing is that you really surprise yourself and go, God, I've done that. Like, well
Yeah.
done me. Um,
Do you feel
and yeah,
proud of yourself?
yeah, massively. I
Good.
feel really proud of myself. I
Good,
think that's what
good.
helps me, like when I go in the gym on my own, because I just
Yeah.
think I'm not bothered who's looking at me because I know that I've I feel good, and if anybody does look at me, then that's okay. And I look at people, and if I like something about them, I tell them.
Yeah.
Like,
I like that.
and
Yeah, I think the main couple of things that I picked up from what you said there is the biggest thing is you being able to be present in day-to-day life now. There's
mhm,
less thought of like, oh, how do I look at this angle? Like, is this like sort of sticking up, pulling your top? Like, I get that. Um, the ability to actually be present in moments and not worry about your body is until you experience it, you don't fucking realize how good that feels.
no,
But I think from the outside in as well, the version that I first spoke to you, compared to you now, there just seems to be this like, for lack of a better term, it is confidence, but you almost seem to just trust yourself more in day-to-day life.
mhm,
And I think that has come from just keeping so many promises to yourself over the last year.
yeah,
Like you have said, right, Andy, I'm going to do this. I need to do this. And you have just followed through.
yeah.
Cool. Okay. Right, quick fire, nice and simple. Is there anything that nearly stopped you joining?
I was just worried about cost
Like
because
everybody is.
yeah, because
100%.
weddings are expensive,
Okay,
and
cool.
but it's not that deep because imagine if I'd not invested in myself. Like it's not worth it for knowing how I would feel. I mean, I didn't know how I would feel at this point. I I can't even I can't even remember how I thought I would feel at this point, but I never imagined feeling this good. And
I love that. I
and,
love
and I
that a
think
lot.
that now I look back and think, thank God I did spend that money. Like imagine if I was like, oh no, don't want to do that.
I think you've answered my next question already, but do you regret investing that money into yourself?
No.
Okay, cool. And then finally, to wrap this up, what would you say to someone else that was in a similar position to you, worried about making that investment, on the fence about working with me, and that is hesitant to just back themselves and take the leap because it is scary.
Yeah. I think you just have to think about cost, not just in monetary value. And you have to think, is it worth the cost of hiding away in clothes that are baggy, or is it that you don't want to be in pictures, or you feel like you're comparing yourself all the time, or stopping yourself from doing things that you've wanted to do? When you put it like that and don't think about it as monetary value, you've got to think it, anything is worth it if it means that all of those things in your life get better. Um,
100%. One final thing, there will be a lot of people that I currently work with that will watch this. You are someone that I would consider hyper successful from working with me because you've put the work in. Can you leave those people that are on the team one bit of advice, a message? What would you say to those people if they are looking at you and thinking, fucking hell, wow, I want to do that?
um, I would say that you as a person, not you, me, you don't know your own potential. And even when you get to a new bit, there's always more. So don't just think when I get to this point, I'll stop, or when I've done this many weeks, I'll stop, or like just think, don't put a ceiling on where you can get to because 9 times out of 10, you as in Andy, know that we can do more. And I think that's what's so good about you is that you can go, you look at a picture and go, yeah, we can do this, this, and this. And I think that's, don't just put a ceiling on it. Don't just stop yourself. Don't go, oh, I'll just do this many steps because that's what Andy tells me to do, or I'll just go to the, like, I'll just do this workout the same as last week. Like, just do better.
Push yourself, work fucking
Yeah.
hard, right? Yeah, I like it. And if there was one thing that I was to add, having worked with you, being on the other side, coaching you and guiding you, if there was one thing that I would want people to take from you, it would be your communication.
Mhm.
Every single time there has been a challenge, you haven't waited, you haven't put it off, you haven't waited till Monday to talk to me about it. You have given me context, information. You have said, Andy, this is the problem right now. This is the problem that it's causing. This is how it's making me feel. It's given me the ability to do my job. And
Yeah.
that's what I need from people to be able to
Mhm.
basically help them get to where you are. So
Yeah. And if
thank
you're
you
not
very, go
sure
on,
on
go
something,
on.
to add to that, sorry, if you're not sure on something, ask. Like,
Yes.
ask the question, or if you see something and think like, oh, why am I not doing that? Ask the question. Don't sit there and think, oh,
Hmm.
that person looks different to me. We're all on our own different paths. Like, I look at other ladies, obviously. I'd love to be as muscly as some of the guys. But I look at the ladies that do it who are like mums and like busy professionals, and I look up to them. But
Yes.
and if I say like, oh, what are they doing? Like I remember messaging you in the early days about somebody that you were posting, and she had the best abs I've ever seen, and I was like, get me those. Like, I don't care what it cost. And you were like,
Yeah.
okay, consider it done. So
Yeah. Yes. That is
just
such a good
ask.
point. That is such a good point. I will finish on this point then. If somebody has something that you do not, and if somebody is somewhere that you are not, they are doing something that you are not doing, ask the question.
Mhm.
Find out, learn from them. Don't look at them and think, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. Get curious. What are they doing that I'm not? What can I improve about my day to day, my routine, my work ethic? And you can get there too.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you added that point. Look, thank you for jumping on and making the time. Really appreciate it.